Maybe she came to the same conclusion I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's entirely inane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. And we just walk off. Great, okay. We start towards the school again. We start towards? Oh, that's the thing. Having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that, and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. A quiet, quite apart from the relaxing one into town, at that. So how's the mural going? We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top is surprisingly steep. Going uphill, we slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there, I can see the gates already. More than that though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder. Interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something, I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say, aside from our travelling companion, but only just. For a moment she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway. Is everything alright? Alright? How do you mean? The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Sorry I'm not in very good condition. I don't really want to talk about it. Come on, we can't just lie about it. The doctor said earlier that it's only an obstacle if you make it an obstacle. So I'm not going to make it an obstacle and speak about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure she already knows about it, so let's speak about it. Only makes sense. It's alright, I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh. Is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean... She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realising she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp though, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I'd mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought... Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty... I guess the best way to put it would be messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago, and because of it, and spent most of spring in a hospital, ended in Yamaku on a doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem quite know how to react. She doesn't seem to quite know, I do apologise, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time her face shows that she's come to some sort of realisation. So, wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I'd intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing that topic. Damn, that's a cold-ass answer. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer her a reassuring smile, but then I realise the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. At least I came clean about it, but Rin knows as well, which probably means everyone will know sooner or later. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural as if lightning struck her. She has been so quiet for almost all the walk back that I had forgotten she was here. She's run out of paints, isn't she? It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to get in a fetal position and throw up, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing is wrong. It's Friday and nothing is wrong yet. This mural, it's going to be finished by Sunday, so everything's alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good. Not good. So she's behind her schedule. Recalling Shizune's exasperation at Rin's carefree attitude several days ago, I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a told you so, unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Leave me, I'm going to need to work for a while. I glance at Lilly, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then I realise she's not the one to do that kind of thing. Leave me. Oh, again, she just walks off. Fine. We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone? She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just, how to say... Lilly cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Yes, a very unique person. Or crazy, as other people would say. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion melodiously, nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lilly offers a slight apologetic smile, as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings have prevented her becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lilly lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I'd say. But that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. And that's it. Is this now the end of Act 1 or Episode 1? So the short story it isn't. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session. Each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people that have worked through the night. It might be the end, it just doesn't say that it's the end. But I might be wrong. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Mewtwo lurches. Ah, it's not Mewtwo, because someone took the piss the other day that I was saying it like a Pokemon. You know what, fuck it, I was calling him Mewtwo. I can't be bothered to sit here 30 seconds trying to decipher what his proper name is. Mewtwo lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behaviour for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present. Probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Probably a bit of both. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mewtwo approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? Okay. That's quite worrying. It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Mewtwo stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say, not knowing what is going on. I wait silently. So, tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Mewtwo to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, Things. You've had a week to settle in now. How are things? Oh, so it's not as bad as I thought it could be. I thought he was going to give me like a sex education talk. Fine, I guess. I see, and how is your condition? The pause before condition seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Mewtwo's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. I did and got complained out for it. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realise that you have limits. Our goals is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to maximise your potential with them. Do you follow me? I guess. I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mewtwo taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there that realise the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. You know what, this reminds me of someone, but I can't tell that story right now. You know who you are if you're listening. Right. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Mewtwo's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think, in hindsight, I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Right. Well then, I think that's really all I had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief at that suggestion is unsurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mewtwo pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Mewtwo does not even notice them. Good teacher he is. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of his drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Mewtwo and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Oh, hello. Oh, I thought Hanako had just entered the room. Clearly not. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lilly. It's weird that Lilly comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako, but it's none of my business and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn the pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages as the novel she's reading. My pencil led splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. It's nice of her. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lilly. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lilly leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back to the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of moments, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her though, her slender frame reaching into the bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lilly leave her own to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Ah, that's right. I think Lilly mentioned something about going into town today before Rim bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around, enjoying the afternoon, make me yearn to go out for school. Or at least do something other than sit here. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or on any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. Oh god, no. No! God. That's a terrible idea. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako. But by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something I can do to kill the time. Well, my heart condition already flared up from the last time I walked into town. And I just feel if I do that again, that will happen. And that will be bad. So, you know, no, I've already done one of these I'll let you guys decide this week. So I can't do that. So I'm just going to go to the library. That seems like less effort. Right. The library seems as good a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was just taken off pretty off guard by Lilly leaving. So she might want someone to talk to. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Through each one, the sound of furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door, almost as loud as a concert. I think that's the point. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go to around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. From who? Right, anyway, the walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but there are only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walk through the library, now familiar with its layout. I head to the back, where Hanako's private little corner is. I run my hand along spines of books along the way though, feeling an individual texture as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. Like the smell of a library, no matter how much care you take, the paper in books is always going to degrade in time. Probably, no matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have that same musty smell. I find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved, and then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she is sitting on the beanbag with her back to the bookshelf, reading the same book she'd had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat in a beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. This delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yep. Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should. Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure, you may like it, but I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you've stuck with it, haven't you? I guess. I settle into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words, having chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster up enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decide to try and make conversation. So, I see Lilly left without you? She nods before taking her eyes off her book. She must have been really into that after all. Lilly said she had to go and meet someone. Oh? Akira, her sister. Sister? I haven't heard her talk about her family. She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. Yeah, there's Akira goes to a normal school. I mean, we don't have to. Oh, okay. Oh, right. But it's easier, right? Forget what I said. I mean, there's food here and you're close to school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding.